Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So a few months ago I did a video on how to go live with Daraja version 3.0, and one of the questions that you guys have been asking is how to apply for a till number, how to apply for a paybill number, how to apply for a one account paybill number, how to set up the B2C API, as well as how to fill in the M-Pesa admin form and where to submit it actually. So that is exactly what this video is going to address. We are going to move from application of a till number and a paybill number, how to fill the M-Pesa admin form together, submit it, and also how to set up our organization workspace. Once we're done with that, we are going to go live with the Daraja version 3.0, and then I'm going to show you how to set up the M-Pesa B2C APIs. That is how to create the API users. So if you're looking forward to integrate M-Pesa into your application and also want to learn how to apply and fill in the documents, then this is the right video for you. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that you need to know is that whenever you want to apply for a Safaricom paybill or till number, you have two options. The first option is to do it self-serve. That is, you do it by yourself. You actually just fill in the documents and send over the required documents to Safaricom via email. That is for the paybill. Or for the till number, you can also do it online via this website here, that is m-PESABusiness.co.ke. This is for application for till numbers and short-term paybills. Now the second option that you have when it comes to application for paybills is that you can do it by visiting one of the Safaricom outlets. So that is one of the easiest way to apply for a paybill number, because it only takes a few minutes to get your paybill number, as opposed to the online one. You have to go through some back and forth application and signing of documents. Maybe you're gonna miss a few, so you have to keep on sending an emails and waiting for replies. So if you have the time to go and visit the Safaricom outlets, I think that is the easiest way to get a paybill, a till number, or a one account paybill. But if you want to do it on your own, then I'm going to cover how to do it for both the till number as well as the paybill. So let's go ahead and cover how to apply for a Safaricom till number here. Then we'll move to the next step, that is how to apply for a Safaricom one account paybill. So to apply for a till number, all you need to do is to just click on apply now. And then as you can see, we have two options here. The first option is to apply for a short-term pay bill, that is for funeral or medical bills. But if you want recurring payments, or you want to use it for your business for a long term, then the recommended one here is to apply for a till number. Again, regarding the nature of your business, you might want to apply for a pay bill or a till number. If you want to have recurring payments such as school fee payments, or maybe collection of loans or disbursements of salary, then you definitely need to apply for a pay bill number. Again, a pay bill number just gives you flexibility in terms of the APIs that you have as compared to the till number. So you cannot do B2C with a till number. You're going to need like a pay bill. So that is something that you need to know when you're applying for these services as a developer. So let's go ahead and apply for pay bill here online. So just need to click on apply now. Then this is also really important. We have two options here: individual, settle to Owners M-Pesa, or settle to Owners Bank. So when you're going to use this thing programmatically, that is, if you want to use the APIs, you need to choose settle to Owners Bank, because in order to use the APIs, they're going to need the bank details. So to avoid that back and forth of Safaricom requesting you to add your bank details later, just choose this option when you want to integrate or you want to use the till number for some form of API integration. If you just want to use the traditional way, then settle to M-Pesa is just fine. So I'm going to go with the settle to Owners Bank, and then right here you need to just read the instructions. They're pretty simple. You can use it to withdraw funds, right? The application form, that is what you're going to fill right now. And you also need the identification document, that is the ID, right? We also have the rates here. So that is it. Let's go to apply now. So this is where you're going to key in your details, and they need to be valid details. So just for demonstration, I'm going to Alright, so this is the next step. That is where we are going to upload our documents, and you have options here. You can use your national ID, passport, alien ID, or even a military ID. So for this case, I'm going to go with the national ID. Then here you're going to upload your documents in PNG, SVG, or JPEG. You don't upload PDF formats, that won't work. So let's start with the first step. That is going to be the front side of the ID. So let's go and upload this file. I'm going to upload that one. Then we're going to upload the next one, that is the back side of the ID. Make sure you scan clear quality scanned images. So next, I'm going to upload the back side of the ID. And then let's also upload the KRA pin. That's going to be a personal one. Then that is going to be the KRA pin in JPEG format. And then lastly, we need a bank letter or a cancel check. So they require this just to confirm that you do have a bank account with the bank that you have provided. So I'm going to show you how it looks like in a second. So this is the confirmation letter that you need to get from your respective bank. So it's just a letter that confirms that you do have a bank account with them. All you need to do is to just walk into the bank with your ID, your KRA pin, and then in a matter of minutes or maybe in a day, you'll be able to get your confirmation letter that is required. This is mandatory, you need to have it, or alternatively you can use a cancelled check. So let's go ahead and upload it. So now we have all our documents uploaded. All you need to do is to now just go to the next step. Okay, once you click on next, you will be sent an OTP to verify the application. So I'm going to check on my phone to actually verify the OTP that has been sent. So once you key in the OTP, just click on accept the terms and conditions, then you verify and submit. So that is how you apply for a till number online if you don't want to visit any of the Safaricom outlets. Now the next step is that I'm going to walk you through how to apply for a one account paybill number, or just a paybill number if you don't need the one account. One account just basically helps you to be able to collect funds and also disburse funds. The normal paybill just allows you to collect funds, but if you want some form of disbursal, maybe you run a microfinance organization, or maybe just run a company where you need to disburse salaries via the M-Pesa B2C API, then one account is the right fit for you. So I'm going to see a step-by-step process on how to actually apply for that and fill in the required document. Now, to apply for a one account or to apply for a paybill number, you need to fill in a lot of forms. So the first thing that you need to do is to just write to M-Pesa Business. I'm going to put the email in the description so that you can actually apply for the paybill or one account paybill. So all you need to do is just need to write an email to M-Pesa Business. Then once they receive the email, they're going to assign you to an agent who is going to be taking you through that entire process of applying for the paybill. Just remember to specify if you need a one account, just tell them that I need a one account. If you just need the normal paybill, also specify that so that you don't run into issues later. So that is the first step. Just write an email, compose an email to M-Pesa Business, and then they will get back to you with an agent who will be helping you in that process. So some of the documents that you do need for the registration, the first one is just you must have a business registration certificate. That can be a certificate of incorporation, or it can also be the certificate, a business name certificate. That is, if you are a sole proprietor and you haven't registered for a company yet, you can use the business name registration, right? It's not going to work without any form of business registration. So that is something that you need to know when applying for a paybill. Then the next thing is that you also need to have a company profile, or just a profile of the services that you're offered. You are also going to need the tax document, either for your company or the personal KRA pin. The next document that you're going to need is that you're going to need the ID of the director, or if you're just a sole proprietor, it's going to be your own ID, as well as a bunch of forms that you are going to be sent to be filled. So the forms, I'm just going to walk you through the documents here. I have them here in my folder. These are the documents that you do need. We do need a business name registration. If you don't have a certificate of incorporation, you can use a business name, and this can be found easily on via eCitizen. You can just log into business registration services, apply for the business name or limited company, and then after 2 to 3 business days, you do need a confirmation letter from the bank, since for Paybill you must provide a bank account, so there's no way around it. You need to have this letter in order to get your Paybill to work. So other types of documents that you're going to need are like the M-Pesa opening authorization form, the M-Pesa bulk application form, the M-Pesa admin form, the one account authorization form, the M-Pesa customer to business service form, the standard tariff, the selected tariff, and also the ultimate beneficial. So these are the documents that are needed to be filled before you can actually get them. And also remember to add your company profile for the one account Paybill application. You also need to know what you're going to use the Paybill for. So in your email, also remember to specify the use of that Paybill. So now that we've seen the required documents, now let's go ahead and fill in the M-Pesa admin form, because that is one of the areas where a lot of people have been having problems when it comes to filling the M-Pesa admin form. So I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step form. I have a pre-filled form with some redacted information so that can act as a reference on how to fill the M-Pesa admin form. So let's go into it. So this is the admin form, probably one of the most important forms when it comes to the API integration. So it's a 2-page form, but really the first page is what you're going to fill. The second page is always left blank. So it's going to ask you if you are a new administrator. Of course, if this is your first time, it's going to be the new G2 portal. Don't select the MB2 portal or updating. Updating is when you want to update the details. Let's say you want to change the email address or the phone number that was linked to it, then you now choose the second option, that is updating the details. So the next step is you need to choose the business category. If it's a sole proprietor, partnership, or limited liability company. If it's just a business name that you have, then you're going to check the sole proprietor. If you're in a partnership with your partner, then you're going to check on partnership. For a company, if you have a private registered company, then you need to just choose on the limited liability company. Or if it's an NGO, you're going to click on the NGO, just click on the appropriate checkbox. But for most of the time, if you're just doing it solo, it's going to be sole proprietor with the business name that you registered. Again, the required details here for somebody who is new, you're going to be asked for the business name or the organization name. That is the name as it appears on your company registration or the business name registration certificate. Then we also have the preferred administrator name. This is going to be the administrator name that is going to be used to log into the portal. All right, so you need to have a name that you can remember, as well as the first name of that person, the last name, and also the middle name. So we also need to supply the nationality if you're a Kenyan, the type of identification, if it's an ID, just need to fill in that. The most important thing to know is that here you need to have an preferred administrator. This is just a username that you're going to be using to actually log in. Then we also have category 2. Probably this is someone that you're not going to need for the first step. That is for resetting the password. So in case you forget your password as an admin, you can fill this form once again, but now instead of saying the business administrator request, you're now going to choose the password reset or account closure. That is going to be for category 2. This is just for resetting the password, or maybe just activating a dormant account. Sometimes if you don't access the portal for a few months, it's going to be dormant and you have to fill in the M-Pesa form, but not for category 2. So you also need to remember to sign it as well as stamped it. It has to be stamped so that it can be valid. So that is it for the M-Pesa admin form. That is how you fill the form. Now, once you're done with that, you need to write an email to M-Pesa Business and send them all the documents that you just saw So just in case you're running into any problem or you're not sure on what to fill, then you can always reach out to me so that I can just help you on how to fill out the forms. So that is it for the forms. Now let's go ahead and compose an email and actually write an email to Safaricom requesting for this. So that is the step for application of a pay bill number. Now once it's successful, you are going to receive an email that your pay bill has been successful. For example, you can see that we have received an email here that your user, the pay bill number is this one, for the name of the business here has been created. They're also going to give you a username if you didn't provide it, as well as a temporary password that you can change upon logging into the M-Pesa Admin portal. So now once we have this pay bill number, we are going to go ahead and log in so that we can set up our M-Pesa Admin portal. So I'm just going to copy this pay bill. Then I'm going to head over to the M-Pesa organization portal right over here. So here I'm going to just paste in the pay bill number that has just been created. Then we need to enter the username. The username here is going to be that one, as well as the password. Then you need to enter this code here. And now we have to log in. Make sure you have your phone that you used to register. For the OTP, then I'm just going to enter the OTP. And here we go. We have successfully logged in to our M-Pesa admin account. This is the administrator, but we also have other categories of users that you can create as an admin. So you can create a business manager. You can also create an API user. You can create an auditor. There are different types of users that you're going to create. But the main three types of users that you need for the system to work, or if you're going to integrate an M-Pesa B2C API, is that you need to have an admin, which you've just been created by Safaricom. Then you as the admin, you're going to create a business manager, right? And then lastly, the business manager is going to activate or set the password for the API user. So the admin is going to create the business manager as well as the API user. So let's explore the dashboard and see what has changed in the recently revamped dashboard. So you can see that we have home, we have the my organization. You can just tell you about the organization here, right? Right now you have no operator. Operators are the users that you have under your organization. These are the business managers, these are the API users, these are the auditors, right? So if you just search right now, we have no operator, but you're going to create one in a few. So right now we only have one operator, so I'm going to go ahead and create two more operators. That is going to be the API user as well as the business manager. So let's go ahead and create a business manager. And for the manager, I'm just going to call it Pinpoint Manager. And also I need to apply some rules for this person. I'm just going to give him the web operator rule. And then I need to add some roles for this one. This is going to be a business manager. I want to give this one to be a web operator. I need to give this person to be the organization API initiator, and also set restricted password for the organization, balance query, transaction query, manage initiator passwords. This is what is going to enable the business manager to set the password for the API user. So remember to give them these roles. If you don't, it won't be able to set the password for the API user if you're working with the B2C APIs. So you also need to set up these ones. You don't have to. Let's do that. And also approve. Okay, you also need to set minimal rights for these types of users. You don't want to give them a lot of rights. Okay, so I think that is okay for our business manager. So we're just going to say confirm. Once we are happy with those roles, you can just say next. And then we need to supply the name for this business manager. Once again, I'm just going to supply my name, my middle name, so once everything is set, you just need to review the details. If everything is okay with you, you've set the short code, the access channel, the roles, right? The name of your business manager. So we're just going to go ahead and submit. We have successfully created a business manager. So the next thing that you're going to do is that we're going to create the next operator that is going to be the API user for the B2C transactions. If you want to do some things programmatically, you need to create an API user. So that is going to be under organization operator, right? If now search, you're going to see that we have two types of operators here. Now let's add the third one. That's going to be the API user. So here it's not going to be web or handset, it's going to be the API user, right? Because the API user is not going to log in, it's just going to be used programmatically in your application, whether you're working on a backend, so you need to do some disbursements. So that is where the API user comes in. So I'm just going to call it Finpoint Digital API. Just give it a username that you can be able to remember. Then the rule, I'm just going to give it that. And then the roles, the API user cannot be a business auditor, not a manager, but it can be that one too. Give him the balance API query, transaction status, the manage organization passwords. No. These ones, no, we don't need that. We need this one. We need this. We need this one. We do need the Paybill organization initiator and that one too. We don't need the withdrawal commission manager. Those are the roles that you need for the API user. Now the next step is to just confirm. Okay, once you're happy with that, the drill is still just the same. We have to enter the KYC details. So I'm just going to do the same drill. Let's go ahead and key in. These ones are just needed for KYC. And then the receiving email. And then just click on next. Okay, this is going to be the national ID. I also need to supply my ID number here. Okay, so you can just review whatever you added here. If you're not happy with any of the rules here, you can always edit them, or you can also change the email or phone number. So let's just submit since everything is okay. So you will see that the API user has been successfully. So right now, if you come to organization operator, you can actually search, and then you can actually see that we do have, if I just expand it, we have the Finpoint Digital API. This is the API user that we're going to use programmatically for our B2C APIs in our system. And then we also have the Finpoint Manager. And one thing to note is that the status is still pending. The reason the status is still pending right now is because we haven't logged in. We created the account. Safaricom did send us the initial password, but we haven't logged in as the manager to make it active. And once again, we also have the Finpoint Digital API that is still inactive because we haven't set the password for it. And for the API user, we can't set the password as an admin. That is going to be done by the manager. So that's why if you come over here, you cannot be able to go to security and set the password for it. So it's not set. So that is what we're going to do. Now we're going to log out as the business admin. Then I'm going to log in as a manager using the password that I was sent during creation of the manager. Then I'm going to be able to activate that manager account as well as set password for the API user. So that is a drill. You first create the manager, you create the business, you first log in as the manager that you created by Safaricom, and then you create a manager user and API user. So the manager is the person who is going to set the password for the API user and not the admin. So let's just log out. Right now, we're not going to log in as the admin, but instead we're going to use the Finpoint. Then the paybill number, the one account paybill number is 4325991. And then you need to enter some verification codes for 96.5. Okay, so you're going to be prompted to just reset the password to a new password. So just go ahead and set a new password. you should get an OTP. That is true. The OTP is then we need to submit. Now we're going to enter the old password. That was that one, M16. Now for the new password, it has to be a strong password. I'm just gonna create another one. All right, so we're going to continue. Then you need to add some security questions here. I'm just going to do this real quick. All right, so I have successfully reset the password. We can now go ahead and log in using the new password. So the username is FinPoint Manager. Now let's enter the OTP. So as you can see, we have successfully logged in our admin account. So the next thing that you're going to do is to just come to organization, and then if we search, actually we need to come to organization operator. Now let's search, and you're going to see that we do have these two users that are currently active, but the FinPoint Digital API is still inactive. The reason it's still not active is that we haven't set the password for it. So we need to set the password. That is when it will be active, right? So to make it active, you don't wait for it actually to be active. That's been a point of confusion. People think that it's just going to be active on its own after a while. So what you do is just need to come here to detail, and then you click on set password, right? This is what is going to make it active. So let's set the password for the API user with the password that was null, but now you need to give it a password. So once again, I'm going to give it a strong password here, and then let's submit that one. And there we go. The password has been set. So that is how we do set the password. We should get a confirmation that it has been set. So let's go back to the organization operator. Now let's just search, and you can now see that the FinPoint Digital API is now active. So that is really important. The API user doesn't just get active by creating it. It gets active the moment you set a password for it. And that password is really important. Save it somewhere because it's going to be used when we are going to be working with the B2C API in our next project. So that is it. As much as it is concerned with the application of our Paybill, a till number, and also the one account and setting up the API user. So once that is done, we're now going to move to the last bit of this tutorial. That is how to go live with Daraja version 3.0 using this Paybill that we just applied and set up. Now to be able to do that, all we need to do is to go to our Daraja portal. So once we log into our Daraja portal, all you need to do is just create a sandbox app. Of course, you do need a sandbox app before you can actually go live. So let's call it FinPoint Digital. Then I'm just going to select all these checkboxes. It's a good practice to just add all the APIs. You might need one later. So that is it. Then we're going to create an app. All right, so here is our app, the FinPoint Digital. So now the next thing that you need to do is to just go live. Since we have all our credentials for the business manager as well as the business admin, so we need to come here and just select the shortcode. The organization shortcode is going to be the paybill number. That is going to be 432 5991, and then the organization name is going to be FinPoint. FinPoint. Then the M-Pesa username. This is going to be the username for the manager. For the admin is that one. You need to accept the terms. Then go to the next step. All right, so there will be an OTP that will be shared there. So I'm just going to enter the OTP. You got 31. Again, just need to select all these APIs. So it's a good practice to add all of them in production too. Then once you're done with that, you are just going to hit on submit. And just like that, we are now live and we are in production with our newly created M-Pesa one account paybill. So it's that easy. All you need to do is to just apply for a till number and wait for 5 business days for them to process it. They'll get back to you. They'll send it an email, or you can also walk to the offices and get it. I think working in the offices perhaps the quickest in terms of getting the API and the paybill. But for the M-Pesa admin, you still have to do it manually. You have to scan the form, you have to fill it handwritten, scan it back and share it with the M-Pesa Business, which the email I'm going to link into the description, as well as the forms. They will share with you the required documents. But if you just want to get started, I'm also going to link all these documents in a link in the description, so you can just fill them and send them to M-Pesa Business, and then they just automatically start processing your application. So that is going to do it for our video today on how to apply for a paybill, till number, how to fill it, how to create the API users for the B2C APIs, as well as how to go live. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to put them into the description and I'll be glad to help you. The passkey will be sent to you via email. So if I go back to my email here, you're going to see the congratulations. They have sent the SDK puts credentials. They're not normally being sent in the portal here, but you can just get them via your email. So that is where you get everything. That is going to do it for our today's video on how to go live with Safaricom paybill and the one account, as well as creating the API users. So thank you guys for watching. For those of you who've made it this far, and as always, if you find value in this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. That really helps keep the algorithm happy, and also share it with any like-minded person or somebody who's looking forward to just learn how to use the M-Pesa APIs. That will really help the channel. So thank you so much for watching. Share, like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and see you in the next video.